We've gone through some basic microphone types. But another thing that you might want to know about will be the polar pattern of the microphones. Now, I know you're saying, Prince Charles, I came to this course to learn about vocal production. But before we get into the vocal and sculpting the voice, we have to know what's happening with the voice. And that's why I wanted to spend a little bit of time on microphones. Polar patterns are the sensitivity of the microphone and the area around the microphone. When you're singing into a microphone, that's called the on-axis position. Any position other than that will be the off-axis position. The three most common polar patterns are the cardioid polar pattern, the bipolar pattern, and the omni pattern. And you can make various other types of cardioid patterns with a combination of those, hypercardioid, supercardioid. But the cardioid pattern is basically formed by blocking some of the sensitivity from the back of the microphone pattern itself. Sometimes that's done electronically, sometimes that's done with an actual physical barrier in the back of the microphone. What that means is that when you're singing on axis, you're getting the most representation, and when you go around to the side of the microphone, you get a minimum representation. When you go to the back, you get very, very minimal representation of the vocal performance. So the cardioid pattern uses the back rejection for different purposes. One of them being to actually minimize the amount of leakage coming in from the back of the microphone. So if my band is facing that way and I'm facing this way, I'm going to get a lot less of the band. So that's called the null point, and that's the point where the signal is actually having the most difficult time getting into the pattern. And that null point can be definitely used to an advantage. Now, you wouldn't use that with an omni microphone, and if you wanted to use a bipolar microphone, of course, you'd want to set the band on different sides of the bipolar microphone. So I don't know what the complexity of your situation might be, but some of these ideas are very good when you're thinking about vocal production. When you're working with a bipolar pattern, you're actually able to sing it to two sides of the microphone and pick up both sides equally. So what's coming in the front is strong, what's coming in the back is strong, and as you go to the sides of the microphone, it gets weaker and weaker. The center point is the weakest point in the pickup pattern of the bipolar microphone. So you literally could do a duet and have one singer on one side, one singer on the other side, and have a well-recorded vocal performance. The omni pattern is a special pattern. This is called the pressure sensitive, meaning that it's sensitive all the way around the microphone. Now, the difference between the cardioid pattern and the bipolar pattern, which are pressure gradient, and the omni pattern, which is pressure sensitive, is that the cardioid pattern and the bipolar pattern have different grades of sensitivity as you go around the microphone. That's how I remember it, pressure gradient. And the pressure sensitive has only one type of sensitivity all the way around the microphone. Now, a very, very cool thing about the omni pattern that you can use in some of your recordings, you know those P's and B's that pop a lot on a microphone? A lot of that is coming because of the cardioid pattern. If you're using a unidirectional pattern, which is very much a cardioid pattern, the area that's being blocked in the back is actually building up pressure as the P and the B pass that area, and that pressure falls back into the microphone. That's why you're getting those P's and B's and those things that we call plosives. The omni pattern actually does not have that barrier, and air can pass through. So the next time where you're getting those plosive syllables on the microphone, a good solution would be to have another microphone that has the capability of the omni pattern, because those P's and B's will pass right through the omni pattern. Now, you'll give up a little bit of low end for that to happen, but sometimes it's worth it if your singer doesn't have great microphone technique. So there's actually a good chance that most of you will probably have a cardioid microphone. And that's not a bad thing. As you get more and more into the recording process, you'll probably expand your vocabulary and expand your microphone choices. So I would definitely say get a microphone that has a good cardioid response. Maybe augment that with another type of microphone that has the ability to change responses from cardioid to bipolar to omni. And there are quite a few microphones on the market that actually do that.